All right, and looks like we're recording. Okay, we can go ahead and get started. Um, Welcome everyone to the 2022 Tier 2 contract webinar. Congratulations on funding. Very exciting. We're gonna get some funds to you and your wonderful organization so you continue doing the great work that you all are doing. Um, Let me go to the next slide. So this is the contract webinar. We're going to be going over, many of you have seen this before, but there is some new information, so it will be well worth your time. And then reviewing the contractual obligations that you'll be signing for. The deadline is November 11th. I do realize that's a holiday. I realized that after we had set the date, but it still gives you a full 2 weeks to be able to review the contract and sign it. Um, and if you have any questions about that, you can let me know. Um, but yeah, so a quick overview of what we're going to go over today. I'm going to do introductions, so myself and the ZAP team. I'll kind of give a brief overview of some tier two stats that I think you might find interesting, the timeline about payments and everything, contractual obligations, signing your contract, and I'll walk through how to do that, and then questions at the end. You can type questions in the chat as we go along, and I can try and answer them as we're going through everything. But if I don't catch it, then I'll for sure catch it at the end. I'll try and monitor both screens. All right. So, for all of you who don't know me, my name is Daniel Sturgios. I am the Grant and Communications Coordinator for ZAP. We also have the ZAP Program Director, Samantha Mary Thermos, and the ZAP intern, Peyton Wright. Um, Samantha, I didn't know if you wanted to say anything here or if you just want me to keep going.
Just one more time, congratulations. Very exciting. And we look forward to helping you with your contracts and getting you paid next year. So thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Samantha. All right. And like she said, congratulations on funding. This year we had 190 applications, which is the second highest we've ever had of applications. The highest was back in uh, 2019 or 2020, I can't remember, but it was pre-pandemic. So this is a really good sign that we've hunkered down and we've persevered and the arts is thriving and continuing to grow. 187 were approved, so it is becoming more and more competitive, but that just means that you guys had really good applications. Um, there, oh, I'm not sure what I clicked on there. Um, we had $3.7 million requested and 2.7 million was funded. And to kind of expand on that, here are some of the stats that we've gathered through the applications, which you might find interesting. Now that you're a part of the ZAP family and ZAP community, or you have been for several years, over 20,000 events last year, over 1.7 million attendees, um, just really cool stuff that's happening in the arts community. Um, and it's very cool to see, and it's just I don't know, it's very inspiring. You all do such great work, and so it's really cool to see these. And this actually helps us in our work because we're able to take this information, present it to council, share it out to the state, and even nationally. We're actually participating in a Americans for the Arts Economic Impact Survey, where we've been gathering data from people attending your events. If you're more interested in how to participate in that survey, let me know. I'm happy to hook you up with our event survey coordinator. But yeah, this stuff really helps being able to articulate what it is that we do for the community and what the value is and what you all provide. Um, this is just kind of a refresher. Most of you have been through the majority of this this year. You had your application in the spring. The board reviewed them throughout the summer. We usually go to council in September, but we were delayed this year. But we are getting back on track, and hopefully we can still have your payments out on time. Your payments, so your contract is signed November 11th. That's the due date. Your first payment will be awarded in January 2023 with 60% of your award, and the remaining 40% will be paid in April. So you can plan on receiving those in your bank accounts and very exciting. Okay, contractual obligations. This is the meat of the presentation. I'm going to go through all of this stuff, and again, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to take a drink of water. Okay. So, like I said, we're going to be reviewing your contractual obligations. Your contract limits your use of ZAP funds to allowable expenses, and you're expected to expend them on activities that you identified in your 2022 application. Um, if you had selected the general operating funding, you have some flexibility in what you put that towards, whether it's staff pay or whatever, but generally it's still the same thing of what you put in your application. If you applied for a specific project or program, the funding does need to go towards that specific project. Just as a reminder, ZAP does not fund this list. I'm not going to go through it all. This was something that was listed in your application. Um, but just as a reminder, some of these things, events outside of Salt Lake County, we totally support you doing them. We just support it in spirit, but the funding that you receive from us should be used within Salt Lake County. Capital improvements, unfortunately, if you're building a building or an art sculpture, things like that. Um, Regranting, so no taking the funds and then funding it out again through a scholarship or anything like that. Um, but yeah, you can review this full list on our website. It's also in your application. It's on Zoom Grants. It's in a series of places. Right. Like I said earlier, you must use it towards what you detailed in your application. If you plan on changing that, you must contact us before uh, making any kind of altered plans. You cannot use it for COVID-related costs. I think this is mostly behind us. Most of you have used your um, funding from the state or the county for those, but just as a reminder, nothing for the COVID-related costs that's already being covered. 2022 funds must be expended by December 31st, 2023, or returned to the county. We still expect you to expend your funds within the 12-month period that you indicated in your application. We just have that deadline so that way you don't end up overlapping any kind of years, if that makes sense. And if you need to refer to what you put in your application, it's question 7. So that should have that detailed information for you. Okay. Um, when you are signing your contract, um, there are two things that you are going to be signing for in addition to the contract itself. There are these attachments that are, and I'll show you this later so you can see where they are, but there's two attachments with your contract. The first attachment is a copy of your application you're signing for. This is what I submitted. And then the second one is the logo guide. This is everything from how to use the logo properly to proper ZAP acknowledgement and all that good stuff that you're contractually required to follow. Oh, and also as a reminder, you'll want to save a copy of these things, so when you do sign for them, you can also download them at the same time, and so you'll want to do that as well. All right. For the logo guide, we recommend you sending this to your marketing and promotion staff if you have them, or anyone who works on your marketing and promoting and social media and all that. Even if they've read it in previous years, it really does help to go over it with them again. We definitely want to focus more on this as ZAP is coming up on its renewal in 2024. So using the logo properly and having it prominent in your spaces and when you're having events and that kind of stuff is very helpful, and we'll be contacting organizations about it to see how we can help. Um, your organization may receive contact from staff regarding logo usage if we find that you need to be contacted if it's not following the guidelines. The guide can also be downloaded on our website, so it's in your application, but it's also on the website on under tools for grantees. Um, and we would ask that you use your logo in not just like materials, but also on your website, Facebook event images, etc. And you can use the logo guide on how to do that. Um, in addition to the logo guide itself, we have banners and posters for you to use. We have them, so if you need them, you can simply request. We are working remotely, so if you plan to come pick them up from our office, you'll have to uh, set up a time so that way we can be there to hand that off to you. Um, but we definitely have the banners and the posters, so uh, be sure to use them. Announcements at performances are always great, so if it's a show, acknowledging ZAP is a huge one because people can hear it. Um, and then inviting the advisory board and council members to your events. So the way that you do this on our website is that you go to tools for grantees and applicants. Right below the logo and banner and ads, that's where you'll find the logo guide as well. There's this link for advisory board invitation form and the elected officials invitation form. These are two separate things and contractually obligated. For the advisory board, it's one event per year. This is very helpful so that way they can come attend your events, learn more about you, um, and they read about you in the application, but it really is helpful for them to be able to attend and see the wonderful work that you're all doing. For elected officials, these are the people that approve ZAP, so it's always great to have them invited to events as well. Um, and they love attending these things too to learn about, the community that the Salt Lake County Council is working for, right? You're also required to post your events on nowplayingutah.com. Um, it's the one-stop shop for residents and visitors to find out what's going on in our community. As a part of your evaluation, you will have to demonstrate that you've posted your events on this website. And this is basically where if you have your account, you can go into your account, post the event, and then you'll have within it, you'll have all your posted events so that you can refer to it when you submit your evaluation. Um, this isn't just a contractual obligation as well. This is something that, this is really going to help your organization have more people participate and learn and know about what's going on. Um, Now Playing Utah they've kind of updated their website, so there's more features now. That's more they have filters and everything. So it's a really great resource for your organization to utilize. Speaking for your evaluation, you will have to submit it. Um, we recommend you submitting it as soon as you complete the fiscal period in which you've expended the 2022 funds. Um, the way that you'll do it is that in Zoom grants, in your 2022 application, there will be a tab that says evaluation, and you'll go in and you'll add your documents and click upload. Now, reminder, this is 2 years after, so you don't have to do it at the end of this year, and you don't have to do it this year. You'll do it in March 2024, and it's going to align at the same time as the 2024 applications. So you won't, it just remember that it's always 2 years in advance. I know that kind of confuses people, but it's to give everyone a full fiscal year of using their funds. Um, and so some people have, a July to June fiscal year, and so they need that time. So giving that 2 year uh, touch point is what makes most sense for them. Failure to submit an evaluation will disqualify you from future funding. The final deadline for that one is going to be March 29, 2024. Um, if this gets adjusted, we obviously will let you know. Um, but it is the last Friday of March is typically when it is. But again, we recommend you strongly that you complete it as soon as you've finished your fiscal year, whenever that is for you. ZAP monthly newsletter. In your contract, it does talk about being signed up for the ZAP newsletter, as that is our primary way of communicating with all of the grantees throughout the year. We do communicate with you in Zoom grants as well, but this newsletter talks about what we're up to, where people are at in the funding disbursement process or the contracts process, whichever time of year it is. Um, you can change anyone's contact info if you need to by signing up on the website. Um, you can simply go to where it says sign up for ZAP mailing list, and we will be emailing you the newsletter. And you should add us to yours too. Many of you have your own newsletters, and we love to see that. We use it for our own um, planning for social media and sending photos for us. So please add PR Zap at SLCO to your mailing list as well, so we can see your newsletters and press releases and all that. Um, Another thing to keep in contact with is Zoom grants. Like I said, we do a lot of communication through Zoom grants. Um, not as frequently as the newsletter, but it's still really important. That's where you're going to get all of your official confirmation and communication. So adding Zoom grants to your safe sender list. And then also within Zoom grants, if you have changed your contact information, you'll need to update it in Zoom grants as well. So that way we're emailing the most up-to-date contact information. If there's been a change in staff or anything, you'll want to change it in Zoom grants. And if you've had a change in staff and you no longer have access to the Zoom grants account, you can email me and I can work with Zoom grants to get it switched over to whatever your email is. Oh, this is to sign up for the mailing list for the newsletter. Sign up for ZAP mailing list. You'll just go to tools for grantees and applicants and sign up. Payment works. Okay. This is something that's not stated in your contract, but it is still required for you in order to receive your payment. Um, this is the county, so not just ZAP, but the whole county's new system for vendors. So it's the system in which they have your account to pay through. Um, all grantees, previous and new, are being required to sign up through PaymentWorks, so that way we can be sure to pay you through the correct account on time. Um, in years past, if you were either a new organization or you changed your bank account info or the contact information associated with the bank account, any of that, you used to have to submit a PDF, and it was called a vendor management form. This is replacing that. So rather than you submitting a form, us signing off on it, sending it to the accounts payable office, and then them manually changing it within their system, this is a system where you can do it instantaneously. So after you've created an account by using the link that we've sent you, you can then update any email or bank account info or any of that through your PaymentWorks profile. Um, just notice the line on the screen. Um, let's see. Oh, I just did it again. Okay, I'm gonna ignore it. Um, okay, so that's everything about PaymentWorks. If you have any questions about it, you can always email me. Some of you already have a PaymentWorks profile. As long as you use the link to the county that the one that we sent you, you should still be able to add the county to your profile. If you have a login, but it's for a different organization, something separately, you will have to use a different email in order to register with the county with your specific organization that's being funded. So just keep that in mind. Um, it's important to remember that your grant is considered public funds. The county may audit your use of funds if necessary. Failure to comply with the terms of your contract is grounds for withholding the public funds and terminating future funding. Now that the County Council has approved this cycle's Tier 2 awards, these applications, minus protected board contact information, are considered public record. So this means people can request a copy of your ZAP application. If this happens, we will provide the request information and let you know that someone's requested it. Um, it's basically it's through the county system. It's called GRAMA, and it's all of your applications are considered grammable. All right. Insurance. As a recipient of ZAP funds, it's expected that you maintain reasonable and appropriate insurance in according with the industry standards. This is in your contract. It's the same language from the contract. Since ZAP does not provide or dictate what the actual insurance might be, we expect you to know what this is and have the appropriate level of insurance required for your organization or your event. Okay. This is not a contractual obligation, but rather a opportunity for you to be more engaged with ZAP. We ask you to follow us online and also tag us in photos, in events, all that good stuff, so that way we can share it out. We've been doing more Instagram takeovers lately, just a lot of really cool stuff. Um, and so we ask you to both share share with us, tag with us, and yeah, if you ever have any questions about that, let me know. Okay. After you've read through and signed your contract, please, well, you'll want to read through it thoroughly and make sure and share it with any individuals in your organization who might interact with ZAP funds, including your board leadership, development, your finance office, marketing, and staff volunteers. We also recommend that they watch a video of this workshop once we have it released, uh, which will be Monday, so that they can also be familiar with the contractual obligations. You can also add these people as collaborators to your application within Zoom grants at any point. So if they need to sign the contract, you can designate that to them, and I can show you how to do that shortly. Okay, signing your contract. So now I'm going to walk through how to sign your contract in Zoom Grants. Some of you have done this before. Some of you it's your first time, which is exciting. Um, it's pretty simple, but you'll want to make sure you do it the correct way. Otherwise, you'll have to contact us and then we'll have to redo it. So first time is the best time. Let me just pull this up. Okay. So you go to zoomgrants.com and you're going to put in your email and log in. I'm going to put in mine. Okay. So when you're in Zoom Grants, you'll see that your application now falls under the approved applications ZAP 2022 application. So you're going to click on that. See, I was awarded $5. Okay. Now, within Zoom Grants, you'll find, sorry, I'm just trying to see if I can figure out how to get rid of the annotate. Okay, there we go. That was really bothering me on the screen. Okay, so you're in Zoom Grants, you've logged in, and you'll now find that your 2022 contract tab has popped up. This hasn't been made available yet, so if you went in right now, you wouldn't be able to see it, but it should be available later today, pretty soon. Um, and you'll also find the evaluation tab. This is where you're going to come to fill out your 2022 evaluation, which you won't do until either the end of 2023 or mid 2023. But it will be due, like completely due at the end of March in 2024. So that way you have your full fiscal year, so you can do the full reporting of that fiscal year. But 2022 contract, you'll see that the contract is in here. You'll read through it thoroughly and make sure you understand everything. You'll want to make sure that it says your organization and has the correct address. Um, Under section 3 is where it'll have the correct dollar amount, and you'll read through. And then at the bottom of the page, this is where you'll have the two exhibits that I talked about earlier, Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 2. You'll want to sign your full name. Ooh, and that was a really good example of what not to do. So if you, let's say you messed up and you didn't sign your full name, what you can actually see how it looks is if you refresh the page, go back to the contract, scroll down. If it's just your first name, that does not count. You'll actually want to put your full name. Otherwise, it won't count as a full signature. So I actually want to put Daniel Sturgios. Click outside, and it'll say signature will appear here when the page is refreshed. So that's why I refreshed the page to actually see what it looks like. So there's 1 and 2, one for each exhibit. And then down at the bottom is a final signature. Put my name in there as well. And then I'll refresh the page. We'll And now you can see that the correct way to sign your full name is in there. And it also timestamps it for you and shows the email associated with the signature. So make sure that it is the correct person that's actually filling out the contract, and then my final name at the bottom. If you need to add a collaborator to sign the contract, like if you are the primary person in Zoom grants, however, someone else needs to sign the contract, the way that you'll do that is you'll go back to your summary page and then down here in the collaborator section, you can add them with their email, fill out their name, their title, and then you'll click this 2022 Tier 2 contract box, and that will give them access to it. If you don't click this box, they won't have access. They won't be able to see that tab. So that's a really important step right there. And then you'll click invite. He'll send them the invite. Um, if they already have a Zoom Grants account, they'll just log in and they'll be able to see it. Okay, so that's everything with that. Okay, and time for questions. And I really blazed through that. So, um, if anyone has any questions, feel free to either unmute yourself or type it in the chat, and we can start to dive into those. And I'll open up the chat so that way I can see. Let's see. Would love to be a part of that survey, Fit to Recover. Oh, yeah, I will definitely, Tony, I will send you a message so that way we can get you on the list. I'll actually write it down too. Can you send that email again to add to our email lists? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking, Sammy. Can you send that email again to add to our email list? Oh, um, yeah, I'll type it in the chat. You mean like the email to for like press releases in your newsletter and stuff? It's przap@slco.org. There you go. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna scroll because there was a bunch of, okay. How can we get review board scoring of our applications? Oh, great question. I can actually bring up Zoom Grants again. And so in your application summary, now that you have access to your approved status, there are board comments within your application. I don't have any in here because no one reviewed this one, but there are comments. It'll say official comment box, and you'll be able to review what the board said. Um, Me too on the survey. Ooh, Bluffdale. Okay. All right. Two on the newsletters, PR ZAP. Do I need to update my collaborators so they can see this year's contract? They're already on as collaborators. Great question. So no, you do not need to add any collaborators, but you will need to update them. So if you already added them as a collaborator, they will have been in here in the system, but that box won't be checked because you didn't have access to it until, or you'll have access to it today. So you'll need to go in and just click the box and then they'll be good to go. Was the PaymentWorks login sent to our email? Yes, the PaymentWorks was sent to your email unless you're a new organization, in which that's what I'm going to do today, because you weren't in the county system previously. Um, but for everyone else, yes, the email was already sent. If you need me to send it again, let me know and I can do that. We received the email payment work. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Rachel. I would like to be included in the survey. Kristen Nova, awesome. Cottonwood Heights. Oh, morning, Ann. How's it going? This is awesome. Love that. Um, we're in the process of changing our official address for organization, new president. Do we need to change it or can you make those changes for your 2023? That's a great question. I think I'm not quite sure actually how to work retroactively. So you will want to change it for sure in Zoom grants. And the way that you do that is through um, your actual account profile. So when you're in your account, you'll have your user profile, but you also have the organization profile, and you'll want to make sure that it's up to date for your organization. So that way, when you fill out the application, it has the correct one because we need that um, for our end for recording purposes and making sure we have everyone's address is right, and also for reporting on where the funding is going because we report how they go into the different county council districts. Um, so making sure that you have the correct info in there. So when you do update it though, when you fill out your 2023 application in the spring, it should populate with into the application. Let's see. I hope that answers your question. Um, For award in 2021, is the evaluation due March 2023? Yes, that is correct. So this year, when you filled out 2022's application, you submitted the 2020 evaluation. So 2021's evaluation will be due this coming spring and in March at the same time as your 2023 application. Steve, looking for the review board comments but cannot see where they are. Can you detail that? We've never been able to get this information. Um, yes. So with my example here, like I said earlier, I can't show it because I don't have any board comment within here. Um, I can definitely see it from the back end though in my work profile. Um, for the sake of time and everyone, Steve, I'll have what we can do is like after this webinar, I'll connect with you and then you can share your screen and show me and we can figure it out. How's that sound? Sweet. All right. Um, any other questions, collaborators, any contractual things that I might have glossed over that may have been fast? Anything else? No? Okay. Well, um, oh, it says remind me about the survey again, just like what it is. Um, so the survey that I talked about earlier is Americans for the Arts, which is a national organization, um, is conducting a nationwide survey. So there's, I think, 7 cities within Utah or 7 geographical areas in Utah, and then there's over like 300 cities that are participating in the survey. So if you've read any of our newsletters recently, we've kind of had this ongoing block where we talk about it, but basically we are going out into individual organizations' events, or they are doing this, they're taking on the survey but they are conducting it to where they hand out the survey to the patrons, whoever is showing up to the events. We're getting about 30 applications, 30 surveys per event ish. Um, we're conducting we're gathering 800 over the course of now until next April. Um, and basically, it's a survey of just do you normally attend events like this? Did you go to dinner before, after? And it's to understand the economic impact of what the different arts events are having on the area. And so after we have the surveys and we've sent them off to Americans for the Arts, they're going to compile the they're going to compile it. Um, there's only like I think it's like 10 questions. It's like a front and back if it's paper or they take it on their phone. Um, it's pretty short, but it's basically like, demographic information and then where did you hear about the event or whatever it is. Um, but basically, they will compile all that and release a nationwide survey. So this is the Economic Impact Survey 6. So this is the sixth time they've done it. They usually do it about every 5 years, except for this one was delayed because of COVID. Um, and this is the county's first time participating. And after they give us the nationwide um, results, they'll also give us a result that's specific to everyone's area. So we're going to get a Salt Lake County report, which is going to be super insightful to see what kind of impact we're having downtown, at the south end of the valley, everywhere. Um, so yeah, we're pretty excited. Um, Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for coming today. I super, super appreciate it because we certainly get a lot of questions that are usually covered in this. So it's great to have everyone here and to see some of your faces. And we're just really excited to, be able to fund you for this upcoming year. Um, have a great weekend and happy Halloween on Monday. Dress up, have an event. Thank you. Awesome. And stop recording.